Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you for joining us again on our regular Sunday and Thursday meetups. And try and sort of read the energies, prepare ourselves, ensure that we are able to navigate through the transformation that is we are currently undergoing. And many people will now have begun to recognize and realize that the lies that were told over the last 2 years to do with the pandemic, to do with the mandates, to do with safety, to do with um, um, immunity, to do with protecting, most of these are now coming into serious questioning. And as a result of the serious questioning, um, there are many who are now starting to question the are starting to apologies for this. I'm trying to set up my network on Facebook as well. So there are many who are now trying to adjust to the changes that they are realizing at this moment. So please bear with me a moment. I'm just going live on Facebook as well. And thank you for the support and the feedback that everyone gives me in terms of how they see the changes unfolding and the preparations that they have been provided with. So thank you for that. Um, so as we are now moving into this space where those who took some of the risks by taking these irreversible medical intervention, now that they're seeing reports of individuals and statistics, and even mainstream news is starting to cover, which was really what we were saying 2.5 years ago. And it is creating a level of anxiety, it's creating a level of concern, it's creating a level of denial, in fact. And this denial will become a very contributing factor to maneuvering ourselves through the trauma of the last few years. So if we are ready to look at how do we adjust ourselves, how do we adjust ourselves to the changes that are going on, well, the first thing is to become aware that those individuals who are now starting to have access to information which is making them reconsider their space, their way of being, or what was happening with them, or what they have done in terms of reversible jab. Really, you can imagine the level of despair, anxiety, desperation that will grow in that. As more and more information comes out. Whether it impacts them or not, it's immaterial, it's the association. And therefore, the wise, aware observer who have been observing and through the falls here and there have kind of accumulated their wisdom, uh, will open compassion as a way forward, making sure that one is there in presence, one is there in present, one is present to the moment, but one is there in presence, in listening, to allowing individuals to be able to find a way of unloading what is going on so you can find solutions. But there are bigger things afoot. There are much, much bigger things afoot, which are more to do with the cosmic energy, which we've been speaking about for several years now, that you will all now witness that the sun is pretty much white, where maybe your parents or grandparents, or maybe even you may remember that when it used to be yellow or orange. So this change in the sun's visibility is a direct indication of the changes that are going at a cosmic solar space. And these energies are impacting each and every one of us and will continue to impact each and every one of us, all life forms in different ways. And as a result of these energies, the side effect of this energy is simply that our biological system, and in particular with the DNA and the frequencies that it works on, that this energy, which is really just a frequency, a radiation of frequency, comes in, it interacts with our internal biochemistry, including the DNA, which then allows our awareness and consciousness to expand. So as this process is going on, in the chaos, there is this immense blessing that is starting to emerge. And this blessing, for example, just one of them, is simply the awareness that's increasing, the sense of sovereignty, the sense of taking control, the sense of acceptance. These attributes allow the navigation of this transformation to take place in a way that is really as healthy as it can be. So, as I say, that the cosmic changes that we are currently under are manifesting in different ways and will manifest in many different ways. And I would make it absolutely priority to recognize that the systems that we have in place, whether they're governmental, whether they are banking, whether they're monetary, whether they're financial, whether they're medical, whether they're health, whether they're social, whether they're um, uh, health, well, the whole range, retirement, the whole range, the whole systems, academic systems, knowledge-based systems, all the systems are now unhinged and are finding new ways of surviving. It is absolutely clear for those who know what's going on or can see what's going on to the best of their ability that the transformation from the age of Pisces, the age of schooling, the age of being told what to think, is now emerging to the other side, Aquarian, where we have to be now the wisdom bearers. We have to go through the experience itself, and as a result, accumulate this new wisdom, which can then become the dominant paradigm creating. So it becomes the dominant way of how we begin to live. So make no mistake about it. In a year's time, 2 years' time, when you look back, you will find that the life has changed significantly, um, to the point where we, as human beings, are now redefining ourselves not as just these um, fragile little egos that are separated and are desperately trying to, scrape a living, and there is a level of, everything is scarce, everything is going to finish, everything is uh, um, sold with this undercurrent of scarcity, that things are finishing, as opposed to abundance. And if one was to critically look at life, one will see that life is abundant. Every day, all the earthworms, all the bees, all the wasps, all the bugs, all the spiders, all the starfish, the jellyfish, the plankton, the shrimps, the whales, and everything in between is fed. It's all fed. It's all looked after. It is a process of abundance. Existence is abundant. This worldview of being scarce, everything being short, creates the same for you. It creates the same future for us because we live like misers. We live in this. So if we are miserly in our external space, we are miserly within our internal space as well. It's just a projection. So the time is now here where three or four things are going to be very important. And the first one is acceptance. The acceptance of all that is unfolding with the recognition of the blessing and the divinity and the orchestration, the grand orchestration of the unfolding as it reveals all that has been hidden. This attitude change will then allow us with this acceptance, because acceptance means we are not resistant to what is going on. Yes, that doesn't mean we condone them or condemn them. It simply means recognizing things that I can't change. I am not going to stress about changing. If the world is burning and falling apart, it is not my issue. At this moment, it is not about saving the climate. It is that is just such a translation of that same burden of the civilized world, that they had to go to these primitive places, as they were called, be it Africa, India, or wherever else, countries that had had thousands of years of civilizations, and to civilize them and to make them, to bring democracy. We've seen what that does. It's the same game. It's the same thing. The same imperial, capitalist, globalist, narrow-minded tyranny of we've got to save. We are the savior. It's that savior complex that many individuals from a particular class of or group of people feel that they are entitled to exercise whatever they're doing upon others. So this process of control is loosening. It's revealing those behind the control. It is revealing those who have been implementing the control. It is revealing those that have complied, implemented, enforced, and then punished those who haven't followed the tyranny. So it's revealing all of this day by day, one by one. So we will see this 2023, a year nothing like this, a year when the whole veil is lifted, and what we see will be shocking. If you think what we went through over the last 2 years was shocking, well, hold on to your turban or your hat, as they say. Um, Acceptance. So, acceptance is things that you can't change. Acceptance also has a level of trust in it. And the trust is this, that whatever is unfolding, it is always unfolding for the welfare of existence, for the balance of the whole. And if I contribute to the unbalance, then I should be out of here. And so it is that acceptance that we are neither attached to this outcome or that outcome. We simply see things for what they are, and we recognize the hukam, the unfolding divine balancing imperative. The unfolding, all unfolding takes place in the present moment. Yeah, in the present moment, which is why your breath happens in the present moment, which is why in meditation we connect to the breath because it's happening in the present moment. All unfolding happens in the present moment. And to know the ultimate, to know existence, you have to first know the immediate. You have to know what is happening right now. In recognizing what is happening right now, just through the breath, nothing more, one is able to recognize the unfolding nature of the entire existence. You, your heart rate, your blood vessels, the whole thing is moving and operating all by itself, just like every single plant around me, just like every single life form around me, just like the weather system, just like the ecological systems. Everything follows the same pattern, the same cycle, the cycle, rhythm, pattern are all ingrained, and they all work together to create this complete system coherence, system harmony. This is hukam. This is the unfolding nature of now. So, hukam is your birth. It is nothing. If you go back and you just look at yourself and recognize that you had no part in your birth, you have had no part in necessarily how fast you've grown or how slow you've grown. You've had very little part in the language you were exposed to, the culture you were exposed to, the individual that you are now, right now, you will find that actually, as much as you'd like to think you are in control, that you were already placed within a matrix within which you were operating, within which I operate. So the level of control we think we have and the level of control there is are two different things. The unfolding is happening by itself at every single level. At every single level. It is our sense of self, which in itself is illusionary, which in itself is, you could call it your egoic complex, home, your self referencing, the bit that is actively speaking to itself, that bit feels it's in control. That bit is the one that allows you to be able to move to the future, move to the past while you are embedded in the now, right? So, Hukam is the unfolding of the present moment, and it is always towards balance, and it is divinity in itself. Now, if Hukam is divinity, if Hukam is divinity, this present moment is divinity, then we can relate that to our breath. The breath that you have, did it begin when you were born or did it begin before you were born? Recognizing breath is that which keeps something alive. So if you were to consider the ovum in your mother had to be alive, it had to be a living cell in order for it to be able to be fertilized. So there was a respiration going on there, an exchange going on there. The breath was moving. And we can even say, well, it wasn't even in your mother when your mother was being carried by the grandmother. All the eggs of the mother were in there, everything's in there. So the breath has this very ancient beginning that has no start, that has no end. It simply is. So the breath is our access to the immediate, but the breath is also our guru. The breath is also the one that connects that which is not known to that which is known, or that which is known to that which is unknown. Yeah, Pavan Guru. And so when we come to this present moment, sooner or later, the present moment will transform into presence. That presence is timeless. That presence is that which is the underlying substrate of all existence. And therefore, in acceptance and hukam put together, we have a level of trust, knowing that the unfolding is happening exactly as it needs to happen. Now, this may not agree with one's individual egoic desires, but no one is really there to ask you. Existence doesn't need your permission. Existence happens as it needs to happen. So, this acceptance of the unfolding of existence, the divine will, hukam, this recognition of the presence in the present moment are two very important contributing factors that will allow the emergence of authentic spirituality. Because as things get harder, you will find there are many that will be desperate for answers. And it is in these moments that you will find those false prophets with their fancy stuff will be able to now prey upon those who are now seeking answers, because that which is beyond their control is unfolding at such a scale that their stability is now threatened. So, this is a whole new awakening in which there is a spiritual emergence. And for those who go down the psychosis route, there is a spiritual emergency. And it's important to recognize that these bigger questions are now relevant and they need to be discussed and they need to be opened up and they need to be brought together. Okay? So, as we go towards the end of the month, the aware observer will simply keep their eye open, recognizing things are very unhinged and not to have too much trust in the systems at the moment. Better to be preventative in your health than to put the burden on the NHS. So look after yourself. Qi Kong, Tai Chi, meditation, absolutely critical. Ayurveda, good food. Make sure you have certain spices, certain supplements that allow the body to work and to maintain health, because prevention is better than cure. And there is no cure if you're in the health services, that's for sure. So important to recognize that, important to look after that, important to recognize that if things go with, for example, you can't have access to electricity for a month or a week or 6 days or 6 hours or 2 hours or the internet um, for a day or two, then how do you function? Just ask yourself that question. How do you function? You needed to get a dozen eggs. How are you going to go and pay for them? Ask yourself those questions. The other thing is community. What is going to work in the future is communal, like minded thinking, not division, but communal, like minded thinking. Those individuals who can put aside everything else but look at what is common human need. And common human need is very simple: a little bit of work, sit, eat, sing together, sit around a fire, talk, and become human. Allow your life to go from this constant state of anxiety to gracefulness, to living with a sense of thankfulness in the fact that you are here. And this is, in fact, a blessing for those who are able to see it for what it is. Okay, I'll leave it at that today, and we will do our little meditation. And once again, thank you for all those individuals from all parts of the world who always listen and provide us with constructive and relevant feedback. So, eternally grateful, eternally grateful. The meditations that we do are contributing to the vibrational space around us, and in time, the vibrational space beyond us. So, a short meditation, and this meditation again focused on the heart again. And the reason I want to go to the heart is now decisions should be made from the heart and not from the mind. And you will find that those decisions which are made from a kind of a heart space, a felt space, are more likely to be of value to you, beneficial to you, whereas those with the mind are likely to fail. So that's just the energy that we're in at the moment. Okay. So a little bit of coherence today. So straighten your back, close your eyes, close your mouth. Now, obviously, you can do this lying down. You can do this as you wish. So first breath in, and we bring our focus to the body itself. Recognizing that every single cell in this body, all 700 trillion of them, all performing hundreds of thousands of reactions, are all carrying on by themselves. Recognize that. Recognize how the breath is breathing by itself. It's not so much that you are breathing, but the breath is breathing with you. Okay, we'll begin first with softening our body. So, next breath in, bring your focus to your seat and allow yourself to be held in place. So, in other words, you can afford to relax a little bit, knowing that the ground, the seat holds you in place. You're not going to go anywhere. Notice that the back is straight and upright. Shoulders are relaxed. Pull back a little bit. And if you were to focus around your chest, you will find that the chest is open. Physically open because your shoulders are pulled back a little bit. Notice that your arms and hands are comfortable. And on your next breath in, bringing your focus now to your whole self as best as you can. And notice your posture. Notice your posture. Notice if there's anything dominant in the body that's drawing your attention. Now bringing your focus to the top of your head, thinking, imagine a hula hoop above your head, and as it begins to descend down, it allows you to scan your body, clearing your chi channels, pushing all this energy down, 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 through your body into the ground itself. Just through intention, we can allow the chi channels to clear. Next breath in, bringing your focus now to just beneath your nose. Begin to watch your breath. Everything begins with the breath, for the breath is divine in itself. The breath isn't simply the exchange of gas, air, carbon dioxide, and oxygen. But the breath contains at least five different aspects. One that feeds the body with the oxygen, one that helps circulation, one that helps with excretion, one that helps with awareness, and one that helps with digestion. Your focus just beneath your nose, watching your breath moving in, watching your breath moving out. Now we're going to adjust the breath. Gently bring your palms of your hands across your chest. Bring your focus where the palms make contact with your chest. Ideally, it's left hand for men first and right hand for women. So your hands are across your chest. Your focus is where the palm of your hand makes contact with your chest. And now you're going to bring your focus to the breath. So you're going to notice as the breath comes in, the chest moves up. As the breath goes out, the chest relaxes. So hold that rhythm. This simple posture helps strengthen our electromagnetic field, helps synchronize breath, heart rate, and our mind, our thoughts. And now begin to adjust your breath. So now as the breath comes in, mentally you count 1 to 6. So it's approximately 6 seconds for the breath to come in, and it's about 6 seconds for the breath to go out. Approximate, or whatever is comfortable for you. Establish the rhythm. 1 to 6 as you breathe in, 1 to 6 as you breathe out. Your focus still on your chest. Ensuring your face is relaxed. Intentional, controlled breathing. 1 to 6 on the breath in, 1 to 6 on the breath out. Now, if you want to gently increase that, so you slow your breath down to the best of your capacity. So now the count is 1 to 7 on the breath in, 1 to 7 on the breath out, because you have slowed your breath down, not extended it. As best as you can. Simply slowing your breath down from the first rhythm to the second. And you will notice that the breath begins to slow down. So once more, so this is the second time, see if you can slow your breath down a little bit more. As slow as you can make it. When you're ready, see if you can bring your focus intentionally to smile. Not from the face, but from the heart itself. Perhaps you wish to bring someone to your mind that makes you smile. Someone that invokes love, compassion, or just simply being grateful for this moment. And when you begin to feel that subtle change within yourself, as you cultivate gratitude or a smile or love, that's your signal. As you begin to notice the subtle change, now you draw a slow, deep breath in, hold, and relax. Sitting with yourself, lowering your hands. Just simply taking a moment to sit with your breath, savoring the moment. Sitting with your breath, watching the in breath moving in, watching the out breath moving out. Just savoring this moment. As best as you can, see if you can bring your focus to the sound of your breath. Being present to the sound of your breath. And by being present, we simply mean listening. No resistance, no commentary, no judgment. Listening to the in breath as it comes in, listening to the out breath as it goes out. Listening to the in breath as it comes in, listening to your out breath as it goes out. On your next breath out, open your awareness to all the sounds and noises around you, including the sound of your breath. Allowing any sound that's around you to come to you. You don't need to look for it, you don't need to think about it, comment on it, or judge it. Just listening. Allowing our awareness to follow the sound of the bell into the deep, deep silence. Once again, come and sit just beneath your nose, sitting with your breath, holding your focus, watching the in-breath breathe by itself. Notice how you're feeling right now. Acknowledge your experience. If you feel calm, notice the calmness. If you feel silent, notice the silence. If you feel at peace, notice the peacefulness. Notice there's no fear, so you feel safe. Next breath out, expanding your awareness to include your whole body. Notice you're sitting on the same chair you began. Notice how the body feels. Notice the sensations where your body makes contact with the seat. From those sensations, becoming aware upwards of your hips, gently moving your focus down your thighs towards your knees, gently focusing downwards from your calves, from the knees, moving down past your calves, your shin bones, all the way down to your ankles. And then notice your feet. Notice the soles of your feet. Notice your back is straight and upright, your shoulders, arms and hands are comfortable. Your eyes are still closed, your mouth is still closed, and your face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. Simply to be, gracefully accepting this moment. No resistance. Everything is exactly as it needs to be. When you hear the next bell, you may use this bell to draw a few slow deep breaths in and gently opening your eyes, or simply continue with your meditation.